Hi guys, and welcome today to my first ever YouTube vlog. On today's video I am going to be explaining to you guys my testimony of how Jesus healed me and changed my life. So here we go guys. I do apologize if it looks like I'm not going to be looking at the camera much because the whole testimony is on my Tumblr, so I'm going to be reading it off there. So here we go guys. Okay, my name is Kyrillos. I'm 22 years old. I was born into a Coptic Christian Orthodox family. However, I used to do a lot of bad things such as drinking alcohol to get drunk, smoking cigarettes, marijuana, porn, etc. I started drinking alcohol at an early age, around 13, but in small amounts. During the time I was 15 and 16, I used to drink large amounts of alcohol. I began smoking cigarettes at the age of 15 because I saw everybody doing it, and I used to think that there must be something good about it if everyone kept smoking it. I was also influenced into smoking by peer pressure. During the time I turned 16, I smoked marijuana. I was tricked into thinking it was a tobacco roll-up because I was in college and I was out of cigarettes, so a classmate gave me one to smoke. And I kept staring at the screen constantly, and as time went by, my habits increased. I used to think that these things provided me satisfaction. However, as I kept continuing down that line, it only kept digging me into a darker pit. It then eventually became a habit and addiction that I found difficult to stop. About a year and 9 months ago, I went out to a friend's birthday at the seafront, and I bought a litre of gin. I ended up drinking almost the whole bottle because I was used to alcohol and I could handle large amounts. Shortly after this, I blacked out and I felt like death, and I vomited a lot and slipped on the floor. After this blackout, I was in my bed at home. I could barely get out of my bed and eat due to the blackout, but I still did not learn my lesson. Shortly after this, around a month or two after I went back to drinking and smoking, during August 2013, I went on a 2-week holiday to Spain with the family. My actual motive of the holiday was to go drink, get drunk and smoke. I drank and smoked for the first 3 to 4 days. Afterwards I had a fatty liver and I used to vomit and gain severe anxiety. I stopped drinking alcohol from August 2013 and have not drank a drop since. I also stopped smoking completely. My anxiety and my vomiting kept going on but shortly stopped when I came back to England, but it kept coming back. Around September 2013 I went back to college to study. However, due to the severe anxiety and vomiting I had, I left the course due to bad health and it affected me from studying. During March 2014, I was watching videos of Revelation. I remembered the verse in Revelation about the fourth horseman of the apocalypse in the fourth seal, which is basically the green pale horse. And as I was watching this video, I suddenly noticed on another video online that the fourth seal and the fourth horseman of the apocalypse has been fulfilled in Egypt. During the Egyptian revolution, the fourth horseman of the apocalypse appeared in Egypt. Shortly after this, I carried on normally and still suffered anxiety and vomiting. After this, I received a vision of the moon turning into blood, and I was given a date on when this would happen, which was April 15th, 2014. After a month on that date, I was browsing through the news and I noticed that the moon turned into blood. Not in England, but in America and other places around the world where it was visible. I then began looking at a couple of Bible verses about this, which I will state here below. Joel 2:3-1. The sun will be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And it will come about that whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be delivered. Acts 2:20. The sun will be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and glorious day of the Lord shall come. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Revelation 6:12. I looked when he broke the 6th seal, and there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth made of hair, and the whole moon became like blood. After looking at these verses, I knew that we are almost near the end, even though the Bible states in Matthew 24:36, "For of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone." 37. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. However, there are verses in the Bible, such as in Joel, Acts, Revelation, and in the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, where the signs of the end of the times will occur. Matthew 24:4. As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" Jesus answered and said to them, See to it that no one misleads you. Matthew 24:5. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will mislead many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place, but this is not the end yet. Matthew 24:6. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes. Matthew 24:7. For all these things are merely the beginning of birth pains. Matthew 24:9. Then they will deliver you to tribulation, and will kill you, and you will be hated by all nations because of my name. At that time many will fall away, and will betray one another, and hate one another. Matthew 24:10. Many false prophets will arise, and will mislead many. And Matthew 24:11. Because lawlessness increased, most people's love will grow cold. Matthew 24:12. But the one who endures to the end, he will be saved. Okay, here we go, guys. This is near the time when I started to change and I got healed. Around May 2014, I cried out to the Lord to save me from my addiction and anxiety, because nothing was working. No doctors could help me at all, and thankfully, due to a cousin of mine from Australia, who visited me around December 2011, left me a New Testament Bible, because many of the Bibles in my house were in Arabic, and I couldn't read the Arabic language or write it, but I could speak it. My mum's cousin, who was a bishop, also prayed for me. When I read the Bible after 2 days, I had a vision of Jesus, and he came to me, and in my vision I was reading the Bible. After that day I instantly changed. I no longer watch porn, swear, want to feel like drinking, smoking, and my anxiety and vomiting has been completely healed. I also have compassion for people and care for people, especially the poor. After all these things happened, I went to the church and had Holy Communion, because I promised the Lord I will go, so I went. After this, I had a lot of visions about heaven and my relatives. They were wonderful visions. I dreamt I saw my granddad in heaven, and he was telling me about smoking or something. I think it was probably do not go back to them or smoke them. Then I had another dream of my granddad. I saw him in heaven. He cried in happiness and hugged me. And I saw my other granddad as well. I never saw him before because he died before I was born. He knew who I was straight away. He smiled and he was happy to see me. I am now very happy that I have found Jesus. Every day is wonderful with him. I never want to go back to darkness at all. And I promise you, if you will seek him and find him, you will not want to do any of the things that this world has to offer. He is the only one, and without him we are lost. So please, if you have suffered or have had any of these problems that I have wrote about or spoken to you about, read the Bible, and I promise you within a day or a few, your life will change completely. I did not know what to do in my life, but I asked the Lord, and he told me to do a creative media production course. So I asked him if he wanted me to do this course, let me get an acceptance offer. And after praying, I received a letter of acceptance during February or March. However, I recently asked him, what do you want me to do with my life? Because I wasn't too sure. I was feeling like when I was in the media course that perhaps it was, I don't know, something that maybe he didn't want me to do, or I was feeling that I was uncomfortable. So I prayed again a couple of days ago, and I asked him, what do you want me to do? Should I stay at college, or should I leave college and do an apprenticeship? And I've had 3 or 4 visions about doing a work-based job, which is basically an apprenticeship. Now, the reason why I asked is to be 100% certain, because if I do something in my own accord, I know I'm going to fail. But if I rely on him, I know I'll never fail. Okay, now this is just a tip and advice, guys, with a couple of more verses. When you struggle with sin and temptation, pray and read the Bible immediately, and read these verses which will help you on your struggle. Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. John 8:12. When Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. John 14:6. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And Romans 10:13 says, whoever will call on the name of the Lord will be saved. Then 1 Peter 5:7 says, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. that is basically my testimony, guys, of how I changed in my life and I met Jesus. And I'm very happy that I've met him. And I hope you guys, will be able to change from your life and meet him too. Because I promise you, if you meet him and you seek him, you'll not want to do any of these things that the world will have to offer. Well, that's basically it for today's video, guys. I mean, if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment below, subscribe to my channel, and please write a few comments as well about your testimony and how your life has changed as well. Well, until then, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.